Everyone, welcome back to the channel, and as always, we're going to be talking about Dead by Daylight today, and the killer that we're shining the spotlight on is going to be none other than the killer called the Legion. As you know, this is a group of 4, but you can only use one at a time, and so, let's get straight into the story. Frank Morrison was 19 years old, and had little to show for it. He'd stopped attending school after being kicked out of the basketball team for shoving a referee into the stands. Yet Frank was a man of potential who could light up a room despite his bleak childhood. At 6 years old, he'd been taken away from Calgary to start a circuit of foster homes. No matter how many times he'd lash out, threw tantrums, got into fights, they'd keep moving him to new unfamiliar houses. His last move had been 3 years prior, when his last foster dad, Cyan Andrews, had picked him up from the adoption center. Now, here's one thing I want to say before we even begin. The story about the basketball player Frank shoving the referee into the stands. I thought I could relate to that, but I've never seen that in a game before. If anyone's got any proof of that, send me. That could be a really great meme. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. They'd been on the road for 7 hours, about 7 hours, before reaching a small bungalow in Ormond. It would be the longest time they'd spend together. Klein was too busy trading checks, but they said it with a Q, so I'm not really sure if it's what I think it is, from family services for drinks at the bar, so I'm guessing it actually is checks, okay. Ormond was a small, stale place, a remote town of 6,000 people, where gray winters drag on most of the year. Frank did everything he could to get into another adoptive family, but he changed his mind when he caught the attention of a beautiful girl. Julie was a popular girl who was convinced that she deserved better than a life in Ormond, and Frank, as an outsider, was her ticket out. Frank attended her parties she threw where everyone was younger than him and easily impressed, which he liked. Okay, here's my thing. This is a big red flag. First of all, on Julie's part, I'm not the big fan of how she's seen this guy as an outsider and thought that was her ticket out of here. First of all, that's just a big no-no, to be honest. You just don't do that. I mean, at that point, it didn't even feel like she even cared for him. She just wanted to be out, and that was going to be her meal ticket, essentially. I'm going to use this guy until, well, he's no longer useful. But basically, and here's another thing, Frank liked that he was impressing other people, so I'm already getting bad feelings of, I'm gonna, have to be the big man around, trying to get these younger people up to speed. They're gonna try to follow me, they're gonna have to follow my lead. Again, another big no-no. This is a lot of red flags very quickly, and I'm not liking where this story is heading. But anyway, like we were saying, Frank attended the parties, and basically, he met the impulsive Joey, who liked to show off, and then the shy Susie, who was Julie's best friend. This looked like a really hot mess. This is a quad of just trouble. They would hang out at an abandoned lodge up Mount Ormond. Their time together was the perfect break from the boring community of their small, insignificant everyday lives. Frank saw it as an opportunity to shape their lack of experience into something powerful. This is where we get really into the bad downturn. And here's the thing, why would you want to shape their experience into something powerful? These are good people, as we know, and they haven't had any evidence to say otherwise. And then you have this really one bad influence outsider. That's typically how it starts, too, especially in real life. And I've seen this happen, to where you've got a really good group of people, and then it takes that one popular kid that's making all the wrong decisions to affect that group's decision and have them go and be, if you will, followers of the cool kid. And just because someone's a cool kid doesn't mean that's the route you want to take. And I really mean that from a personally deep standpoint. But getting back to the story here, he lined up nights of debauchery and rampage, testing their limits. Bullying, vandalism, and theft were essentially their weekend plans. It came to a point where they would do anything he asked. Nothing was off limits when they put their mask on. One evening, Frank dared Joey to vandalize the store that had recently fired him. See, this is just a big no. On so many levels, Apologies for that yawn, my goodness. But yeah, no, this is a massive big no. The fact that they're vandalizing, they're basically committing crimes. Now these, you call them a group of thugs, which is really what they are. Vandalizing, debauchery, rampage, thefts, the thieves. And this is all because they do whatever, and it's fine, I just finished saying this, that they're gonna do this guy's bidding. And it's just a sad part to see these three people get sucked into this horrible life, and I'm assuming it's gonna get worse. Alright, here we go. They sneak into the store easily enough, as the building was supposed to be empty after closing hours, but a cleaner who was still there grabbed Julie as soon as she came near. Hearing her stifled cries, a dark impulse took over Frank. Hold on, time out. Kudos to the cleaner. Typically, my thing is, hey, I only clean the store, I don't protect the store. Even if you're an employee there, you don't protect the store. Your life is more important. Get the hell out of there. So, Dead by Daylight, this is my pitch to you. We need to get the cleaner as a survivor, because that guy's got some gutsy guts. You know, you need to put him in. He can have some really gutsy perks. You know, hey, he could even grab the kill at one point, and try to like survive. But yeah, I just thought that would be kind of funny to put that in there. Let's see. Hearing the stifled dark impulse to go over Frank, he rushed to her aid, knife in hand, and without hesitation, planted the blade into the cleaner's back. As the group stared at Frank in shock, he ordered them to finish the job. Joey clenched his jaw, grabbed the knife, and stabbed the bleeding man in the ribs. Sue did not want to do it. Frank shouted at her. They had to finish what they started. Julie closed her eyes and jabbed the knife into the man's chest. She handed the wet blade to Susie. My goodness, sorry about that, guys. And said they were all in this together now. Susie stared at Julie in disbelief as Frank grabbed her trembling hands and inserted the knife deep into the man's throat. Frank told him to move fast. They mopped the blood off the floor, stashed the body in the trunk of Joey's car, and drove to Mount Ormond. So here's my thing. This man did not deserve to die. Unfortunately, I took a very dark turn, and this is what I was fearing. Because he grabbed him up, and then Frank, who already kind of liked Julie, just stabbed the man. Then they basically did aggressive assault, murder / overkill by stabbing him. Not only they get stabbed in the back, he got stabbed in the ribs, then the chest, and then the throat. So the guy wasn't dead; he was definitely dead after the throat. That was a bit much. That was just too much. If you're gonna stab, they had to stab him in the same spot. Like, the guy did not deserve to be in that much pain for that long. In 4 different areas, just not right. And then on top of that, then they become like a cleaning crew and apparently perfectly mopped up the floor as if nothing ever happened, which kind of blows my mind, to be honest with you. At least they're somewhat efficient, a good cleaning crew. Alright. So basically where we're at now is the guys in the back of Joey's car. They're going to Mount Ormond. All four were digging in the muddy snow to dispose of the body when Frank spotted something moving through the woods. He grabbed his knife and broke from the group to check it out. The fog was thickened around Frank, becoming so dense he soon could not see ahead. He could soon no longer see ahead. He realized his steps and stumbled on an ominous trail. He followed the eerie path as if called by the darkness. Julie, Susie, and Joey finished digging, but Frank was nowhere to be seen. Julie spotted his muddy footprints in the snow, and the three of them followed the trail, which took them deeper into the woods. When Julie, Susie, Joey did not return home that night, their parents thought they'd run away with Frank. Each family came up with a different theory. The mood of the town changed, however, when a body was found by an abandoned lodge up Mount Ormond. Now, the last part I want to talk about is the families in this. I really don't think kids, when they're in like high school and middle school, really understand how much damage they could really do to a family. And this is a story that's very like harrowing and saddening, because Frank may have not had a good life, right? But the three others that he dragged along with him into this pit of darkness, into this downward spiral, did. So we can assume the fact that their parents cared enough. And now having to come with reality that this guy that came in, this outsider, came in and just impress them and all this other stuff, and I took them away from them. That's a tough pill to swallow. And then on top of that, to have to come up with your own theory to just kind of cope with it is hard. It's hard. It's daunting. It's challenging. It's depressing. That causes depression. So this is just a really sad story of just consistent red flags. People who want to be cool, people trying to becoming followers, and just going to the wrong things, and being going to that downward spiral that people in reality do have, and it's saddening to see, and it's sad. But folks, I think that pretty much covers the Legion for us. So with that being said, hopefully you liked. Please do leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to BVTV. We'll see you next time, everybody. More stories next week. We'll have the same one for Survivor, going back to Survivors next week. So that being said, again, please do leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to BVTV, everybody. Stay off the hook.